So I'm going to explain a little bit about paper today. Paper has a lot of qualities that, as an artist, we need to be able to think about and all keep in our mind at once so we don't accidentally do something to our paper that we regret. So, at a microscopic level, the side of a paper, like if you were to take a cross section of it, it would look like a mountain range. Paper has tooth, which means it has little bumps and grooves that when we draw, the graphite sits in those grooves. The papers catch it. Now, certain qualities of pencils are harder and some are softer. The harder a pencil is, which also means the lighter a pencil is. So the higher the number next to the letter H means that the pencil is very hard. So 5H is harder and lighter than a 2H, which is harder and lighter than an HB. So a 5H is a really hard tip pencil. And when I draw a line with that pencil, refocus, and push, what I am doing to my paper is I am pushing the tooth down. So instead of the graphite kind of filling in, it does fill in, but it also smooths out that tooth. So it makes almost a crack at the microscopic level. So if this is what my paper looks like, and I have already filled this with like 5H, and I tried to draw it with my dark pencil over it, it might not fill in because there's no teeth there for the graphite to grab onto. So where I drew that hard 5H line, this is my 5B pencil. If I try and draw over it, that line still shows up because my pencil is going from this tooth to that tooth, and the graphite isn't actually touching the paper in that crack or in that scar. I call things like this, little marks like this, scars in the paper. When you are using your lighter pencils, it's important not to press too hard so you don't scar the paper on accident. Now you can use the fact that the paper will scar like this with your graphite pencils to your advantage and to your disadvantage. We don't want a bunch of these lines showing up in your drawing where they don't belong. A bunch of outlines if you push too hard and then erase, but now they're just stuck there. So when you're sketching things out, make sure you're doing it with light pressure. But you can also use this to your advantage. If I wanted to draw human hair, like someone, hair, there are places on this hair that the light catches, and they're like super thin strands of almost light. So if I was drawing someone's hair, I could intentionally scar the paper and add some light stripes before pushing my darks in the hair. And then when I went over that hair, those stripes show up in that graphite. But likewise, you don't want to do that when you don't mean to do that. So if I wanted to shade a sphere, I'm going to start with my outline, always. But if I push my outline too hard, and then say it wasn't the greatest outline, like it's not really a circle, I'm going to go again. That's better. So if I wanted to then shade that sphere, better focus, with a darker pencil, it's going to be hard for me to push the darks into that first outline, the mistake outline that I made, because I have scarred the paper there. So I won't be able to get the pigment deep into that crack. You might have wondered before why marks that you made on your paper are like still there even though they're erased and they don't look like they're there. It's because they're a scar in the paper with no tooth left. So see how you can see that outline of that scar on your paper? That hurts our overall craftsmanship and overall technique. So now that you kind of know the microscopic surface quality of the paper that you're working on, you can better understand how to use your pencils, the hardness and the softness of your pencils to enhance your artwork.